Yes, I
This
can.
conference will now be recorded.
House shoes.
Like causing problems.
You know,
I just turned.
This conference will now be recorded.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll begin our meeting tonight with a public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Lake Placid will hold a public hearing on Monday, July 19th, 2021 at 5 p.m. in person and via go-to meeting to consider proposed local law number 2 of 2021, a local law to amend chapter 217, section 22 of the Code of the Village of Lake Placid. A link to the go-to meeting will be publicized on the Village of Lake Placid website. On Friday, July 16th, 2021, a complete copy of this proposed local law may be found on the village website or may obtain a copy by emailing the village clerk. All interested persons are invited to participate in the public hearing and will be given an opportunity to be heard. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State.
Do we have to make a motion to open the public hearing? Or was that something I should have done before you read that?
You probably should have done it before, but
Could I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, what she said. And I guess I've got a quick question because we have Janet here, but it looks like our current hours are 9 to 6 Monday through Saturday and 12 to 6 on Sunday. And we're looking to change that to 12 to 8 Monday through Saturday and 12 to 8 on Sunday.
No, 9 to 8.
Sorry.
9 to 8.
And
No,
then
no,
12
no.
to 8.
I think the only change of this local law is to go from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on any day. We didn't do anything with Sunday.
Okay,
So Sunday,
Well, Sundays are 9 to 10. A 9 to 1 is an exemption.
okay. So the way you have it is correct and we just know.
So basically, it's the parking requirements are not going to apply before 9 a.m. or after 8 p.m. on any day, and they won't apply from 9 to 1 on Sundays.
Very good.
but they will apply from 1 to 8 on Sunday.
Yes. Correct.
And that's probably the most anyone's ever talked or said at a public hearing we had.
And I think what about the municipal law where we switched to 24 hours?
we haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we're working on it. And the fee.
So the subject of this public hearing is just very limited to changing to before 9 to after 8. None of the other parking concerns are part of this proposed local law.
Does anybody have a comment or a question on this new proposed local law change?
Not this, but Janet, can we change the municipal law by resolution, the time?
Wait till we come
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. And I know we should close the public hearing on this and then ask other questions about parking. That would probably be the most appropriate.
Yeah, we have nobody else. No one has any questions asked, so I entertain a motion to end the public hearing for the. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We are now out of our public hearing. Record length. Did you want a question, Peter? Or we can do that later. Oh, yeah. Can I have a motion to open the board meeting? So moved.
Second. So,
All in favor?
aye. I guess Janet already answered this. She has to look it up.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah. But I don't see on the agenda any action to be taken on the local law that you just reviewed and had the public hearing on. So that should be added to the agenda if you're going to take any action on it.
Okay, well, let's just move it right up to AA. Do I have a motion to accept the new local laws proposed?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 You'll document that that was added. Yeah, thanks. Okay, and then the item A is village board regular meeting minutes from July 6th.
So one more question, Janet, sorry. So this is public, now that does this go into effect tomorrow, or do we have to wait for the Secretary of State?
Oh, you have to wait till it's filed.
Okay. So you're gonna let us know when Mindy can change the meters?
Yes.
Okay, finally getting to item A. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? And did anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, motion to accept the minutes as recorded.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are approved. Okay, and then potential closure of Main Street during FISU games. We have Assistant Chief Chuck Dobson on the line, and he's just going to quickly explain what it is we're asking.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. So it's just as we discussed at the work session the other day. The FISU committee, the safety committee more specifically, is looking for the village board to make the request to DOT to close Main Street and come up with a alternate traffic plan for the state road. So by making this request, the board isn't setting in stone the closure. They're just requesting that DOT grant a permit and then develop the appropriate detours with their engineers. The DOT is aware that we're going to do this, and they're waiting for our application.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
I do.
And that we're acting on this because of the Department of Homeland Security's recommendation, this wasn't something we came up with on our own.
Right.
And that it's a fluid process to
Right.
add on to what Mark is saying. We'll keep the.
That's correct. Basically, we can't even bring anything to you detour wise until the DOT engineers come up with an actual detour. So we can't even tell you exactly what it's going to look like until DOT completes that study.
Do you have the dates that it'll be closed?
Yes, I submitted it in an email to the board, but I believe it's the 11th through the 22nd of January 2023.
And
That's
Chuck,
for-
if I remember right, there were parts that were going to be closed and parts that might have temporary closures depending on events. Is that correct?
That's correct. During the peak times for the Olympic Center usage, there would be closures on the southern end of Main Street during those busy times. For example, like 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon.
Okay, great. Any other questions?
Maybe if they could relay more details to Liz, so we have a comprehensive sort of, if you do an article on it, that we have all the details. Because that initially you'd be like, Main Street closed for like a week where it's not as expensive as that.
Well, if you do have any questions on this, this might be a good time to ask Chuck about it, because he's not going to stay on after it's done. It's just we're giving the go-ahead to the state to look into closures for Main Street during the World University Games.
What is the length of Main Street that's going to be closed?
Can you do
So,
that?
yep, what we're proposing is approximately 1 Main Street park to the main lot on the northern end of Main Street.
Across from the post office?
Correct, yes.
And when
Liz,
you-
I can talk to you after the meeting as well if you'd like, if that's easier.
Would also be interested in whatever detour information that you have, unless that's not planned yet.
Well, that's why we have to make this request to DOT, because they have to develop the actual detour for the state road. Their engineers do, and then give the plan back to us.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Any details from Chuck, but obviously we'll have to get in there to remove snow. And obviously if there's an emergency, and people that are staying, say, at Golden Arrow or the new hotel, you can get. Great. Okay. So I guess I'm looking for a motion to accept the application to the New York State DOT to look into permitting the closure of Main Street during the 23rd games of January 11th through the 22nd. Did I say that properly?
That sounds good.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so moves. Thank you, Chuck, appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, gazebo placement. We have the gazebo here.
The main event of the evening.
Maybe I'll move forward. I can send you guys, if you don't mind, if I can see your faces. And I thank
It's
you.
more personal.
Well, thank you to Tracy. And,
Is this your
I mean-
school teacher upbringing?
well, it's just, I think it's important to see the pictures because they tell the story better than I can visually say it. And again, I want to thank Tracy and Mindy and Haley because they make it possible, I think, for me to share my screen. I'm sharing my screen. I'm saying share my screen. Why isn't it sharing your screen? Share.
I think that's just you're over 30.
Thank you.
All right, that's your cue. Can you help me?
Hover over the bottom, Tracy. And then click that screen button, I think. Share.
All right, and so now, who do mine has not, oh my goodness.
Is it because your video is off?
Do I have to put my video on? Oh, I apologize. There's my camera. I can put my camera up.
I don't believe other than Janet, there's anybody on, so.
I guess I could turn this around.
I mean, we don't have our paper, at least I've got them.
I see go to meeting, have a great meeting.
Yeah, sorry. It's kind of, it is kind
I
of.
like the angle of Dean.
Yeah, I think we're sharing.
You're
All
sharing.
right.
So you have to make it eligible for me to share.
I think Dean has to be the presenter to share.
Yeah, we made him presenter.
Enter full screen. And more, I don't see anything where it says I need.
I don't know if that was the new person.
Presenter.
Now click Screen share. Dean.
All right, so I say share, I don't know how to, can I show you what I have?
Sure.
Let's leave it up.
Oh, I needed this.
I guess that's go to meeting. Do I have a screen share on that? Oh, there it is up, I think.
Thanks, Nate. Here we
I
go.
think it's
Here
going.
we go.
Ah,
Hey,
yay.
look at that.
All right, so thank you very much. That was easy. What we really needed was a 12-year-old. And so
Present company exclusion.
Yeah. if you can see this, yes, that's the finished product that we're going for. And we talked to you before. It's moving forward. This whole thing started, I know Mark is probably the only one that hasn't been part of these discussions up until
I
now.
know all about these.
All right, so it started with a group from
It's really up.
group from Pennsylvania, and this is what we decided last time we were here. The only decision you made in terms of the treatment was there was a question about the composite floor. There were different levels of hardness. I went down to talk to our Amish friends. They had said there were two levels of hardness. There were two different levels of hardness. The one was one price. The one at the better hardness, the more hardness, had one that was like 20% more than the other. So we got the one with the higher hardness but less price, if that makes any sense. Anyway, it is moving forward, and as you saw in the report that I gave, Haley and I have driven down there, I don't know, twice now. Haley, I can't get her on the motorcycle, but she will drive down with
You
me.
won't let her drive.
And,
2021.
oh, now what did I do?
You took flipped it upside down.
Rotate view clockwise. Rotate view clockwise.
There you go.
There you go. And now what I was trying to do is make it a little,
Nope.
I was trying to make it bigger. I was trying to make it big. Oh, I know what it was. Anyway, I was trying to make this bigger, but I can't.
Can you have it like
You
bring
gotta go to
button?
that drop down
If
menu.
you pull make the people on top smaller.
I don't know how to do that.
She's not coming to your aid, Dean.
Oh, what yours,
Ah,
what do I do now? Is I close?
Try clicking on the page there. You go.
Is that happening?
yeah, click the green one.
I think I'd stick with.
I
what you
don't,
got.
I don't have anything green underneath.
Oh, the circle.
Top left.
Top left. Your top left.
Kind of hidden a little
Yeah,
bit.
there you go. The browser window, the green circle next to the yellow circle.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Okay, does that help?
There you go.
Good
All right.
idea.
So basically, we have, so far I've been to you, one of the reasons you probably know about the gazebo, because I've been to 2 different village board meetings. We also went to the review board. And most of the discussion centered around location in this area. In fact, we had first proposed a location a little closer to the sidewalk here. And we took that to you guys twice in the village board. And I believe my recollection, I don't remember the dates of this, but my recollection was that especially Jason and Peter wanted to go down and took a look at a section we flagged and said, we'll move it back. And we'd be better off moving it back. So this is the new proposed location. And I actually left that meeting thinking that we had not only said move it back, but we had an okay from you to put it in that location. Apparently it was a long discussion. Apparently you never got around to actually doing a vote. So
I think Peter and I went afterwards and we were like, and I don't, maybe there was a subsequent discussion if it went back further, but then there was, I guess, another discussion.
What happened is others became involved, like new board members.
And
Member singular.
well,
And Dean, just to refresh your memory, you went to the review board and we gave you the approval. The review board gave you the approval for that location.
I got the approval from the review board. I never got the approval from the village.
And other
Right.
department heads and, you know, it was like, to me, it was like this place or this place was the only options. I proposed a different place, but that wasn't used, but nobody liked that either. That one spot right by the tennis court, nobody sits there ever, but then I thought, I can only speak for myself, when this other, the newer spot was proposed, it's head and shoulders the best spot for usage, in my opinion.
All right. Before you make that decision, let me explain what the appearance committee is, because we respectfully disagree with that. We did try to meet when we heard about all these different groups. I contacted Brad and Butch, and we had another on-site. And I don't know what, you know, there were some discussions that took place between the department heads and you, and I was not privy to them, so I don't know what they were thinking. But what we got out of them from this meeting is that it's really 2 philosophies. How open should this open space be? Should it be inviolate? And Brad and Butch, basically, from what I get, the only thing they said at this meeting, again, I can always talk about what they said at this meeting, said basically that most of the complaints they get is there's not enough open space. People can't throw frisbees. The parents committee is of the opinion that we really don't want to encourage throwing frisbees and playing baseball down there. And we're also of the opinion that this location right here, the red location, is still far superior. It does impinge upon that open space, but it still leaves a lot of that open space. One of the things we've tried to indicate to Butch and Brad is just the difficulty with putting it in this spot by the playground facility. This is the playground facility right here. And the problem with that is that we think it's important, very important, to keep the 50-foot setback from the mean high watermark. That's in the land use code. It's a law that you made. If you put this is the inlet right here, and it is about 50 feet right now from the inlet, you know, the last part where there is mean high water, to that closest corner. So you can't really move it any closer. It would be less than 50 feet. So it ends up impinging on the playground area. You know, we'll show you the implications of that. So there are 2 things that we are saying as the appearance committee. One is we are not messing up a lot of open space. Look at all the open space that's here. Secondly, we think this is a much worse location because it does not essentially enhance any of the activities that are there. And thirdly, it doesn't fit with the big master plan. And the master plan is really different activities north to south, spread the activities up north to south. So up north, we put in a kayak rack, a boat launch. Local people can kayak, the yoga people use it, etc. As you move down, you get the toboggan run. After that becomes the beach area, then you get the playground area and the tennis court and the boat launch area. We think this fits with the tennis court boat launch area a lot better. Multiple use, if it is here, a couple of things happen. One is it is multiple use from Ironman. When we were there on the on-site, there were 2 people changing their clothes next to their cars right here. And you've all seen the Ironman suits here. You're not going to get that. So it enhances the use of the Ironman. Tennis courts would enhance the use of the tennis courts. Starts to rain, you take shelter for a couple minutes, you come out, you leave your tennis racks in shelter, you come out. It enhanced that use. We had planned, one of the reasons we wanted a composite floor, because we thought it was closer to the lake, it would fit in with the skating use more. Because people that will change their skates on the bench, but we think they really would like an enclosed space to leave their backpacks. And so we don't want it over here. You don't want people skating by the outlet. That's not the best place to skate. Over here is a better place to skate. So it enhances the tennis, it enhances the picnic area, it enhances the walk around because more people are walking around the lake there. So it enhances all activities that are there. And that's why we felt that was very good. Also, it keeps away it takes care of the 50 feet. If we look at this then, we did an on-site with Butch and Brad. We did not change their mind. They did say, look, final decision's up to the board, so everybody understands that, but their philosophy is their philosophy, our philosophy is our philosophy. So here we have members of the appearance committee. So we have Jamie Rogers from the tree board, we have Denise Peugeot from the Mirror Lake Watershed Association, we have Judy Shea, who represents the Garden Club and is kind of a connection with beautification, and then Haley, who has taken over as chair of the appearance committee. I'm just doing this as a vestige as I move over. And this is Tim Robinson, who is the Lake Placid Business Association, who is also us voiced in the appearance committee. And you can see that we've tucked it back in this corner. And this is, and if you look, there's a little rope here. You can't see it, but there's a little rope here. This is the view from the rope. So we believe we are keeping up most of the open space. There's no problem launching a boat from there, any size boat from there. The open space is kept there. It enhances the activities there. This is the view shed impact, and I showed this to you before. This is obviously right the corner of the tennis court by the stop sign. So until you get to the tennis court's in the way. This is where the view is impacted when you hit the end of the tennis court, and the gazebo, of course, would be here, would impact the view. Of course, as soon as you get to this sidewalk, 8-10 steps, the view opens up again. So we're impacting about 15 feet of view. As you walk around the lake, there's 15 feet while you walk around the lake where this impacts the view. Other than that, it does not. So let's take a look at the other location. I have to mention, by the way, that I discovered, I'm a little colorblind, so that'll be part of my excuse, but I put the wrong colors on the top of this. So, and I think I was looking at the wrong map. And I didn't want to call them option 1, option 2. I wanted to try to be even-handed, but I'm sorry for that. This is the location that is proposed by the department heads. And if you push it back, it is under a street light. However, notice what happens. There's a couple things. First of all, if we go back to this other location, it is relatively flat. It's not going to take a whole lot of excavation. If you go to the second location, you can see how much higher Jamie is than Denise. You will have to dig into the views into the side. I don't, and Brad says I can either dig in or load up. I would assume you'd load up because you don't want to any cuts in the hillside here as kids run down the slide and then come into a cut. That means, of course, that the handicap access in the front is a little bit more difficult. We'll have to engineer something for the handicap access. In other words, this is a harder place to put it. And if you look at it, this is, you can see where Judy is standing.
Excuse me for 1 second. There's no access from the back.
It's
not two-sided.
We have a gazebo that has the way the gazebo is designed is one access point in the front in the wide section, and that's the way most gazebos are designed. Okay. So it's a enclosed section. We don't think it enhances the activities of a park. This park has equipment that is designed for 6-year-old toddlers, 6-year-old down. I mean, the park equipment is 6-year, 12 to 6, 12 above. And when you have toddlers, anybody who's been there knows that what you do is stand next to the toddler. People will not sit in this gazebo and watch their toddler. Every single on-site we were at, the guy who's, when the toddler's going down the slide, the person standing by the slide. The benches work because you're open and you get access. As a parent, your primary concern is not your comfort, it's your kid's safety. So they do not sit in the gazebo. They're not going to. We don't think it's going to enhance any parent's view of the gazebo. In fact, we think it will deter, because if you are watching your kid on the playground, what you will see is the gazebo right here instead of the view of the lake. So our feeling is, we met with Brad, we met with Butch, and we respectfully disagree. If your primary goal is to keep that space open, that makes sense. It's a philosophical position that makes sense. If your other goal is to make sure that people will get the best, highest use of it, we think that this location is better. And that's a decision you're going to have to make. I think I have one more slide here. Yeah, so you can see how, it's pretty, how it is. I guess that's the one I was going to use to show you the impact on the view. So where you are on the playground, you're going to see the gazebo rather than anything else. The other thing is, I know the review board was concerned, and I know Chief Moore was concerned with security. And one of the reasons they thought that was good is because the light was there. But I'm going to go back to the map. If the gazebo's here, it's one lane of cars, which is what, 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, probably 25 feet from a roadway, which is patrolled. And so it makes sense to us. And it's a lit street. It's going to be lit by the street lights. So patrols will be able to see that very easily. If you look at this location, this is down a hill. There are trees right here. You can perhaps see it from here, but you can only see about half of it because the hill's in the way. So you're basically putting in the gazebo in a more hidden location. We do not think that that is best for security. So we looked at it. We talked to Brad. We talked to Butch. We tried to compromise. The appearance committee is still of the opinion that, for the reasons I gave you, that this is, we went out over here, we put the rope down and took a look and had a conversation, and went here and put the rope down and took a look and had a conversation. And the appearance committee still asked me, said, nope, we're going to stick with our guns at this particular one. And we believe that this is the best location for the gazebo. And I guess that's my gazebo report. Gazebo, it's easy for me to say. That's my gazebo location report. And be happy to try to answer any questions.
Brad and Butch were with you?
They were with us. I was not with them. They apparently had a separate meeting. Brad, Butch, I think Bill might have been there. I don't know. Bill was there, and I think Greg Borzilleri was there. And I sent emails and said, please meet us, and Brad and Butch came and met us. I did not meet with Greg Borzilleri ever about this. I did meet after the first presentation. I did meet with Brian Delaney. I'm trying to think when it was. It was still ski season because I stopped on the way back from the mountain, and he and I walked down. And he did not like it when it was out here. But when we pushed it back, Brian said, yeah, we can live with that. Still not as, he would prefer this entire open space, but he can live with it. We still think that that's, and we did not talk to the Ironman about it. We did not do that. And that was pretty much a conscious decision not to do that for different reasons.
May or may not be here.
That's exactly. And we thought that we should not really, although, Greg said he could live with this, he was part of an email conversation. Our feeling was this is a community choice, and we should really worry about how it's going to be best be used 364 days and probably 20 hours rather than just 4 hours of the Ironman. And then that was why if you don't like that, it's okay. That was our decision. So that's where we are there.
Anybody have any questions of Dean?
We will be ready to take, it's going to be, just to let you know, there's a little bit of pressure, but not so much. We are ready. The gazebo, last time Haley and I went down, it was like this. Be happy to drive down again. It's kind of nice drive.
Where is this?
Lewis. It's an Amish people in Lewis. Amish people are very hard to contact, by the way. But and they're really nice people. It's really kind of an interesting culture to even watch. He was going, this is where they were, when did we, Thursday, Tuesday? He was going to finish it this weekend.
Yeah.
The problem, well, the holdup was still the composite, the supply chain for the composite. The composite was being delivered, it was going to be put in and stained Thursday or Friday. So it should be ready for delivery. We can take it at any particular point in time. It would not be a problem if he held on to it for 2 or 3 weeks. It would take probably a couple of days before we they don't do it. They always have a horse and buggy there. They don't deliver by horse and buggy. They deliver by truck, and the truck would have to contact the trucker who would talk to them and set it up. And I think they said 6 or 7 days at least, depending on the trucker's schedule. The cost for bringing it up is about $300, $90 for the first mile. You have to load it up. $3 a mile after that. I figured $310. So far, we've spent, we will spend $4,800 for the gazebo. We have $5,600 from the group. I did write the
We
group.
can go get it.
Yeah. Well,
I think if Brad would rather they deliver it.
if they break it, they fix it.
Right.
Yeah, they break it, they fix it. They put it where you want it. If we move it, we break it, it's ours once it's delivered.
I guess I got the impression also you were thinking having this in place for this year's Iron.
I was. And I wrote the group because this again comes from a group of people in Pennsylvania, and I've never met a more gracious group. I explained that the location was still being discussed, that there was some, and I forget, basically what they said is, we love the community. We just want the community to have something to show our thanks. We want them to have it where they want it, the way they want it. And I could not have been speaking to a more gracious group of people than those that we spoke to in Pennsylvania. So they understand. A lot of them decided not to come up this time anyway. Different reasons. I think it had something to do with vaccines and COVID and all that kind of stuff. A lot of them have kids, and the kids are not vaccinated. They have a whole set of issues. Most of them are not going to be up.
Courses in the normal.
Yeah, most of them are not going to be up until next year. And the other byproduct there, we've always been talking about a memorial, and they're talking about maybe we always talked about we'll keep that unobtrusive. It's always been a very important thing, and I want to allay your fears. They're talking about they may even not want anything, if anything, a small plaque on the inside. So they're like I say, they're some of the more gracious people I've ever had the opportunity to work with. So there you are.
I'm going to take a walk over there again.
All right, we did not stake it out this time. Be happy to walk over there with you. If you want to set up a meeting with the appearance committee, we'll be happy to set up another meeting with the appearance committee and take a look over there. We didn't want to leave stakes in the ground during the summertime. But that was a bad idea.
The only input I really had tonight was Brad told me if we wanted this in place for the Ironman, we better make a decision tonight. But if it's not going in place for the Ironman and we need more time to discuss this, we can table it. I'll leave that up to the group. We can also vote what we want to do tonight. So,
Ironman's in 6 days. It's not going to happen.
yeah. So
Yeah, I think Brad's going to be really busy the week before the Ironman anyway. I know it's really, I mean, the highway department gets busy working with
he
those
said
guys.
if we approved it and it was here, he'd get it in, but.
I would not ask him to do it at this point. It's up to you guys, but I would not.
It's not going to be here, so it's a mute point.
We would have to drive down and tell, I would like to be able to tell the people in Lewis about how long it's going to be the property. So if you're going to, I could go down next week and say, hey, you hang on to it for a month. It's outside. It's not going to be a problem for them.
Could write a letter.
I'd like to make a motion to table it and have further discussion.
Jackie, I forgot to mention that you were there for the meeting. I'm sorry. Jackie was there.
That's okay. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. Your picture's not in there, Jackie.
It's fine. It's fine.
Jackie was there for the onsite and has been representing your group in the appearance committee as we've been working our way through this.
Is there a second to Jackie's motion? Any discussion? All in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Okay.
So should I try to get on another agenda? I'd be happy to talk to you.
Why don't you, if you want to have people go over there, line that up and let us know how it turns out, and then we'll go again when you're ready. I mean, because obviously you need approval of where it's going before it's on its way, so we can.
Yeah, I don't think I can meet with more than 2 or 3 board members at any one time, right? I mean, if somebody do you want me to, I can set out something, meet with, should I target a few specific? Jackie's been there a couple.
I have my own meeting already, so I don't need to go to this.
All right. You want to
To
go
be
over?
honest with you, I like both sites, and I'm not going to go against my head of DPW, my police chief, and park commission person, so
Well,
I don't want to slant it either way, but like I said, I appreciate all the work the parents have done, but that's just what I'm. planning, so.
I wouldn't look at it as one side against the other. I'd look at it as two different philosophies. Which philosophy, either the space is inviolate and we should not touch it, or we should touch it for the opportunity to enhance, to enhance the activities that take place there. I would hesitate to say either side. I think nobody's wrong. Everybody has different evaluative processes, and you just otherwise you have a winner or a loser. Well, I guess you do.
We're tabled at this point. So
Okay, so I should shut up and get out of here.
No, but
I can take it.
saying whoever you would like to bring with you or talk up there, you've got until the next board meeting. So,
All right, maybe I know you're interested.
is it
Yeah, definitely look at it.
All right, you want to go up with someone? You rather go up on your own?
Go by myself.
All right. And again, we got to be 55 feet from the 50 feet. From
Yeah, well, did somebody actually literally measure it?
Yes, we did. We had a tape measure there.
Okay.
And now it's not 100% accurate because we did not get in the water. We held it out there.
I think one other point I would make too, just looking at the two sites, is that gazebo is going to become part of the playground if it's in that site, being that close to the playground.
I mean, kids are going to play in it.
Exactly.
Well, sure.
Which is not, it's really its intended purpose.
Must it be handicap accessible?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I would think that it would be a good idea that must and ought are two different things. I believe it ought to be handicap accessible. Must it be handicap? You'd have to defer to your attorney for that.
Okay, well, we've got it.
We can, it's, right now it's on 4 feet, 4 inches, basically. So you can get a wheelchair up pretty easily, and we could, the engineering can be the engineering.
You know, for a lot of reasons, Butch and Brad did not like that location. Whether, and I wish Chief Moore had been able to be there, but you know, it's hard. I don't work there. I don't manage the park. I have, as a board member, you know, I walk by it once a week maybe. So I would have to agree with Art that, you know, asking, you know, having our DPW and our parks guy there and, you know, just saying that it's just not going to work. I've got to trust them. I mean, they're at the park on a daily basis and they have people there on a daily basis. So I get, you know, that's my feeling, but obviously we can discuss it further.
I will say, in the meeting I had with them, I never heard them say it will not work there. I heard them say, I'd prefer to, we need to keep the space open. I would prefer not to have it there. I never heard them say it will not work.
You know, you're right, Dean. They didn't say that it won't work. You're right. So, but they were so adamant about having alternate locations, and Brad is so willing to work to do anything at any other location, you know, just so that that's out there, that Brad's willing to do whatever it takes to make it work somewhere else other than that specific location.
Okay, like I said, we've got 2 weeks, we've got it tabled, so let's hope in 2 weeks we can have an answer so that we can have it sent up and we can.
You're not seeing my screen anymore, right? Did I get out? Okay, good.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean, thank you, Haley. At least get an ice cream cone if you have to.
Good idea.
Where? Oh, Stewart's.
Okay, moving right along, item D, electric department promotion. June 19th, 2021, department member Brian Taylor meets all the requirements to be advanced to a second-class lineman, step 5. He has successfully completed his 3rd year of lineman school. He possesses a Class B CDL. As of July 29th, it will be 42 months from his date of hire as a 3rd-class lineman. This promotion has my approval as superintendent, and the effective date is July 29th. I recommend Ryan be promoted to 2nd-class lineman, step 5, at a pay rate of $36.48 per hour. This is signed by Kimball F. Davey.
So moved.
A second.
All in favor?
I'm willing.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that passes then. As far as sending a representative to the conference, Mindy, would you like to tell us what the latest and greatest is on that?
So Peter Holder, yeah, you're right there. Peter Crowe has asked to attend, because Tony Madafrey is retiring. And
After how many years?
lot.
Yeah. Good guy.
And Peter was part of the crew that got him hired, so he wants to go for the retirement purposes.
Okay.
Originally, Kimball was gonna go, but Kimball's mom is still not well. So we had asked Sparky if Sparky wanted to go, since he is the foreman. But Kimball said that the year is way too much work, and he doesn't want Sparky to go because he doesn't want to get backed up anymore. So it looks like at this point, I'm going, unless something changes. So yeah, right now it's me and.
And Kimball said he could switch with you if things were
Yes.
good with some others, so.
Yeah.
He did have a conversation with me, and he did mention your suggestion, and I thought, and it was just my opinion, I didn't want to reflect on the board, I thought we ought to have a presence other than Peter Crowe, and when you recommended Mindy instead, I was like, that's fantastic. I didn't know if that was something you ideally wanted to do, but I thought it was.
Annual before, it's,
Yeah.
the annual conference is more of a schmooze fest, which is totally fine. There's a lot of golfing and a lot of,
Networking.
it's a lot of networking, yes.
Well, to that matter, I have an issue with sending somebody who's 6 years retired. If the idea is to schmooze, I'd rather see somebody, I mean, I have a hard time having village taxpayer money pay somebody who's not an employee and really doesn't represent us, even though he does have valuable opinions. I'm not going to say that, but I don't think we should pay. Peter can go, but I don't think the village should be paying for it.
Jackie, one note to that though is Peter has always been, since retiring, that he's available as a consultant whenever we need him. But I'll just throw that out.
And we have utilized them in the past. I know Kimball's called him for stuff, and Stewart's called him for stuff, and I've called him for stuff. And he's never billed us for it. But-
No, I hear you. I understand it. And if somebody had been, 2 years out or 3 years, but this guy's 6 years out, I can't do it.
Okay, well, let's start with, does anyone want to make a motion?
So is it because of Tony that Peter Crowe wants to go?
Yes,
And it was requested by Peter to go?
yes.
How much is it? How long will be nickel?
Well, no, you should. That's a good question.
$600.
600.
Yeah, well, he doesn't get meals or anything like that. So.
But he'll get a per diem,
No,
right?
he Get a per diem.
He'll get a per diem. So
No, you won't. We're just paying for him to go.
the registration fee and the hotel room,
Yes.
and will he get gas mileage?
No, he'd ride with me in a village vehicle.
Can we have a non-employee in a village? Is there a liability issue there in a village vehicle?
Good
Not as
question.
a
That's a good
department,
question.
not as a department head, because our department heads have to be in their vehicles. Like, I know people pick their kids up because if that's all they've got.
Yeah.
So we've looked into that. No, it's not.
Okay.
Do we want to break this down into two parts to vote on this, or do someone want to bring it all up at once? Someone make a motion, we'll see how we do.
I'd like to break it into 2 parts. I would like to make a motion that we send Mindy to.
Okay? Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on Mindy? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so Mindy has passed. Someone like to make a motion?
It's, when is the conference again?
The end of August.
August 31st through September 3rd.
Can we make a motion to kind of, we have a long, what I'm looking for is more of maybe an opportunity to discuss it internally.
Well, part of the problem you're probably going to have is it's like any other convention is if you don't book now, you don't get the rooms. I don't know if
You
that's
have
the
to vote
case.
by the end of July.
No, so we can table it then.
So, okay, whatever you guys want.
I don't want to table it. I want to vote now.
You want to vote now?
Yes.
Happy to do what anyone wants to do.
Well, I'll make a motion to table it
Jason. Vote. It's a yes or a no.
No?
Well, somebody make a motion and someone seconds it, we can vote on it.
I
But
don't have a whole lot of history to know if this is precedented or this is a normal
It's
thing.
definitely abnormal. It's definitely abnormal.
You're gonna use the word abnormal.
yeah, if somebody wants to table it, if someone makes some
I
motion.
made a motion to table it.
I'll make the motion to hold a vote.
Everyone's just making motions left and right.
Well, Jason's got a motion to table it. Is there a second?
Oh,
Well, but you just have to go in order here. If there isn't a second, then that doesn't come up. Does someone want to second that motion?
I mean, we can vote it down in 2 weeks. They don't have to book now.
okay.
Because I'd like to know some more background as well.
The next board
Why-
meeting's not till August,
Yeah, oh,
and they need it by July 31st.
oh, never mind.
Approve it.
Never mind, I'm forgetting what the date is. All right, let's vote on it.
All right, so no,
What's your opinion?
On what?
there's no second, there's no second.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you don't want to second this, then that's not going to, we're going to back to voting. I'm just curious did you want to second Jason's motion or?
So then we can discuss it.
I would love to talk about it a little more.
Yeah, but then if we can table it, we'll have time.
Because we just
Oh,
say
exactly.
yes or no at our work session.
Then we'd have to make a motion that would be authorizing contingent on agreement on the village board.
There you go, make that motion. And then you can discuss it at the next.
All right, so I make a motion that we approve Peter Groh contingent on further discussion. Or authorize the mayor to.
Anyone want to second that motion?
I can second that one.
Okay, any discussion on this motion, this proposal?
So you're basically approving it then?
But no, it's contingent,
On discussion.
this contingent on discussion.
It could change based upon discussion.
Yeah, we'll authorize the mayor to say yes when we have a longer opportunity.
Next Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes. And I'm sorry,
All those opposed?
all those opposed?
Hello?
Sorry, Jackie.
It's okay.
It is officially going to go to the workshop. Okay, anything else to come up under clerk items? I'm sorry, last item F. We have a request from the FISHU or World University Games to hang World University banners to get excitement and recognition anytime we're not hanging any other banners. We have discussed this in our workshop. We said we would gladly like to see that happen. Jason, I believe you made the recommendation. We have areas that do not have
Yes.
flags at any times. We could also put them there, anything to help promote the World University Games. Would anyone like to make a motion to do that?
Mayor, that violates the banner policy. You know,
Which is?
we have a banner policy that only allows banners being hung a certain amount of time, I forget what it is, 2 weeks before an event, and they have to come down after an event. So you'd have
The
to,
whole idea of hanging the banners at all is a violation.
well, if you're not hanging them in accordance with the policy, it's a
No.
violation.
We can amend our policy for this particular.
Yes, you
So
could.
the question is, do we have to legally amend that, or is this something where we can
Well,
make?
it's a policy, it's not a law, but I just want everybody to understand that we do have a policy that limits the amount of time a banner can fly.
So you're saying we have to adjust the policy then?
No, I'm just saying you should probably in your motion, give a reason why you're granting a variance.
For promotion of the World University Games.
Okay, and how about, and because it's not for a particular for-profit event or out-of-town event, it's a community event. If you'll recall, most of the other banners are, for example, Horse Show, Pan Am, CHE, those kinds of things that are not really community-wide. I would just put some language in your motion so it doesn't set a precedent.
Anyone like to try a motion?
What Janice said.
Okay, so
There's a lot going on there.
I think Janet is making the motion then. Janet is explaining we should make a motion that says that we are going to agree to hang these banners when other events are not up, and the possibility of hanging them in places where we never put banners. We understand this is not what our banner policy says, but we are making an exception as this is a event really being hosted by the entire area to bring the world in. And it's a worthy cause to make an exception. How'd I do?
You did great.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? I want to forget you, Jackie.
I'm good.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
That was easy. Okay, anything else to come under clerk items? Okay. Treasury items, warrants and affidavits.
Jackie checked it.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome.
I have a motion to accept warrant affidavit number 23.
Did I what? Forget one? What? What? My ears are, what?
How much confidence did you have?
We have a first, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any other items to come before us from treasury?
Not at the moment.
Okay, any new business? Any old business?
Peter, I might have an answer to your question.
Which one?
About hours in the parking lots.
Okay.
So, and I'm reading this off the cuff here, but it does say that, and this is in the same Article 4 of the code that we just made the amendment to go to 8 o'clock. It does say that so this applies to parking meter, parking pay station zones as being parts of streets and/or public parking lots upon which metered parking, parking pay stations, attendant parking, or paid parking is now designated or may hereinafter be designated. So those hours that we just changed would apply to the parking lots.
Great, so we're done. Good. No, we're not, we want to do 24 hours. So we met,
We met as a separate,
yeah.
I think.
So we have to do another local law to change it to 20 hours, 24
Yeah,
hours?
that's the fees, so we're getting there,
Yeah.
baby steps.
Okay, so we got 2 hours out of you.
Baby steps.
Well, as long as you have enforcement, you got 2 hours.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go.
Okay, are we good? Moving into anything under old business? Okay, under mayor items, I have a letter that Chief Moore has sent to me. It says, "Dear Supervisor Rand and Mayor of the members of the town of North Elba, on July 13th, 2021, at about 2:20 p.m., the Lake Placid dispatch received a call of a swimmer in distress in Muir Lake near the beach. A 55-year-old male was swimming the Ironman course, became distressed, and was being brought to shore by a canoe where he was holding onto the side. When the canoe arrived at the beach, members of the lifeguard began life-saving measures. Our patrol arrived on the scene, and Chloe Hodgson was performing CPR on the man. Janine Streeter, Audrey Fox, Camille Ward, and Deidre Kellerman were assisting her in life-saving efforts. During the CPR, the male began breathing, coughing water from his lungs. Soon the ambulance crew arrived at the beach and took over medical efforts. The lifeguard gave this man an opportunity to live another day and should be commended for their efforts. Their conduct was professional. Without their efforts, the outcome most likely would have been fatal. I feel your board should recognize these young women for their heroic efforts. The lifeguard staff went above and beyond the call of duty and should be recognized. The village and town should be proud of them. Sincerely, William P. Moore, Chief of Police." I think I can speak from the board that everyone's very, very proud of them and very pleased that they performed the way they did. We, as you know, already had one drowning this year, and it would just really be a gloomy start to the season, having a second occurrence. But thank you very much. It's nice that I've been in cases where I've been at a scene before anyone came, and it's amazing how the first people on the scene are the police, the second people on the scene is the fly car, and the second is an ambulance. And it's just great to know if you have problems, these people are there. And now to add in the beach people and the people that were out in the canoe, it shows what kind of community we live in. I don't know if anyone has anything more they'd like to add. Okay. Commissioner reports. Anyone have anything they'd like to say there?
I do.
Who's that?
It's me. So many thanks to the mayor for putting me on the Community Development Commission. So I have two reports. One was last week we met with Next Factor. We had a report from Next Factor on the destination management plan. It's probably 3 or 4 months into the process, and they've gotten a wide response, but of course, as we all know, affordable housing and opportunity for job growth and job experiences are probably what we're going to hear. But again, it's all about, tourism is our economic base, and how can we embrace tourism. That's just where we're at this point. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have something more final. The second report is on the website. I attended 3 seminars virtually with the 3 potential candidates. And Jason, I was hoping you were going to be able to make it, and Emily, but unfortunately it was just Anita, Haley, and Mindy. Did you have an opportunity, Mindy, to sit down in it?
I didn't sit in on them, but I did have conversation with Kate and Anita after.
Right, Kate was. So, what it's going to come down to is obviously these 3 websites, which range from, affordable to not affordable. They're all going to have a robust platform and features that we should take advantage of. But both the town and the village need to make a commitment to putting somebody or multiple somebodies in charge of this, because there's no sense in just having the same people try to carve out 5 or 10 minutes of time out of their day or out of their week to update this. I mean, these platforms they have a lot of features that we should be using, and I didn't know if we want to make this a...
Jackie, if I can interrupt, I think I probably have an answer. It's probably very much like the committee for the budget and the audit. It's the whole committee. Maybe it's something we could consider doing at workshops every time there's something. Does that sound good to the board? I think we ought to have all of it.
Oh, as far as what the approach to.
Yeah, in other words, instead of 1 or 2 of us, maybe all of us ought to, maybe we could do these at workshops and have all our input.
Keep it on the agenda every Tuesday.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
But I guess maybe I think her question too is like, who's going to be designated to do the.
I'm pretty sure Jackie volunteered, didn't she?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, no, my son was sick. I was taking care of him, but I did. My understanding was we're moving in that we're moving in the direction where we're going to be on a similar platform. And it's going to be integrated.
Yes.
I thought, from my understanding, was whatever worked best for those that were involved was going to work for me. The next step is who's going to be, whether it's Haley or someone in the village, or that would be worked out after we can kind of just agree on what platform. I didn't think we were even at that point yet.
Well, as you sit through these these presentations, you find out exactly how much these things can do. And, if we need to make a logical decision, do we want bells and whistles that are just going to sit there and we not take advantage of it?
And we hit it in our next workshop. That way, if we can all come up with an answer or at least have
Sure.
advance, by the time another week goes by, we can vote, keep the steps moving. Unless someone has a better suggestion.
No, yeah, no,
Would you mind talking to Kate and see if she'd be willing to come to our workshops and keep us updated and help us keep moving?
Oh, I'm sure she would. She'd love it.
Okay.
but then have specific action decisions that need to be made. I think that would be beneficial to that committee would be, here's where we are. We need your decision on A, B, and C, and it'll keep us kind of focused and moving forward.
And Jackie, I do have one request. I know before, I remember one of our three choices was Granicus. And that is the group that the code enforcement just left.
Right.
It's probably a different division, but could you find out if it is a different division or at least?
No, it's the same division. And on that call, Kate was pretty forthright in talking to them about their customer service end of it. And, you know, of course, new business, they were like, oh no, that's not going to happen. We're great. We're going to just, you know, be at your beck and call. So yes, it was talked about.
Okay, as long as it's been, I'm sure you and Kate can fill us in. Okay.
Yep.
Like sales, anything to get through the door, and things change.
I think with Kate asking the questions, I would take her opinion on what came out of it, though. Sure, knowing Kate.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jackie, from your commissioner report?
No, that's it.
Okay. Anybody else, commissioner reports?
We still don't know the status of exactly when we're blacktopping or when the wall is getting built and
Well,
main parking lot.
what I do know at this point is that Saranac Avenue, there was a discussion on, do we leave it the way it is? We can add a few parking places, or do we put it back the way it was? I've been in contact with the Business Association, and their suggestion is to put it back the way it was. It's going to have to go back that way anyhow next year, because as you're coming down the hill, you need a turn lane to go left like there always was. And if you don't put it in this year to pick up a few parking places, you're still gonna have that problem. If someone turns left, it's gonna tie everybody up till that person can turn left.
So they're gonna black out the yellow stripes that are there.
They're gonna do
now,
that tomorrow morning.
Line parking spaces on the.
And everything will,
Okay.
if it's dry enough tomorrow, they've got a group coming in, it's 5 a.m. They're going to, so by tomorrow, Saranac Avenue will be back the way it was and finished.
Well, this sidewalk,
Another inch and a half top coat.
other than.
Yeah, but that's not
In
now.
a year and a half.
Yeah, right. And my understanding is that everything right now is base coat, because we have 12 major construction companies working. We have 3 more scheduled to come on, and they're driving heavy equipment over all these roads. Let's wait and put this down at the last possible minute.
Why waste money?
The other thing is now done, to my knowledge, is Mirror Lake Drive from 1 Main Street Park to Swiss Road is done, is lined. The comment was that signs for permitted parking were not up. I believe that was done today. If not, they've rounded up the signs. They'll be going up shortly.
Okay.
If you look where the granite comes down in front of the High Peaks Resort and then it stops and then the brick picks up, they were hoping to do granite there, but there was some structure work that had to be done. Then it got late, and at this point, as soon as they finish whatever that structure was, they're just going to put a hard surface in there, and it won't be granite until probably starting in September.
But are you gonna be able to do that for the?
Yeah, I assume.
The film
So-
form?
It'll be a hard surface soon, probably within the week.
Oh, the film form's in the fall.
Yeah, well, you know, the other thing that, you know, it's all subject to weather. It's all subject to how many rocks you hit, what happens. But their goal at this point is to have the finished product right down to the entrance to the NBT parking lot. So the trench lines will be in, sidewalks will be in. I just think everyone has been so good about this whole project. It would be nice for them to see what we put up with everything for. And of course, that's on top of the things you can't see, like the salt reduction in the lake, the water line if something went wrong. I mean, there's some great improvements underground, but it should also look really nice above ground too.
With the permanent parking going up at like the 1 Main Street, that was the remaining sort of concern in the parking, potential parking up there. And now that it's rectified, everything else been positive about how amazing the sidewalks looks, how amazing the granite looks. It's like,
The end will justify the means in this case, hopefully.
Something that I keep not pursuing, which I should have, while I talked to Mark a couple of months ago, we should really put a letter out to all the business owners or owners of the buildings about if they need to, if they want to replace the water line from where the shut off is into the building, it should be done like in September.
You mean where the stubs are in the parking area lines? I mean, they put stubs in of 6-inch lines, right? At this point, it's too late.
No, I mean, everything's under the sidewalk, except for the 6
Right.
inches there.
That's right. I mean, at this point, it's too late to do a line into your building
It's not-
unless you go to where those stubs are.
No, it's not too late. It's too late after the sidewalk.
Right, but it's not going to come off the main water line. It's going to come off these stubs that we put off. the
Yeah,
inside.
well, exactly. It's
What
all
you're
new,
saying is
it's all new to the shut off.
They need to do it before
It
we
would
put
be
it up on
nice
the
to-
sidewalk.
Because they'll have to pull everything up.
I mean, I think we should write a letter to all the owners and say, but you need a highway work permit. Brad says there's 2 people in Saranac Lake, plumbers, that do this kind of work.
Okay.
So,
Cindy, you're taking the notes. Can you make a note or could someone make a note to let Brad know that? And I'm sure
Peter.
you have to Circle
Peter,
back.
is that gonna happen in September? Because I know Brad told people it wasn't gonna happen until next summer.
The sidewalk is probably going to be going in from 1 Main Street Park down to about the NBT lot if things work out. But below that, it's not going to happen until the next year.
Okay.
So there's some progress.
I mean, the point is to get them in before the sidewalk gets done. So.
No, I know that, but I know in one particular instance where we had a lot of back and forth and actually have an agreement with that property owner, they're under, it's not gonna happen until next summer at their location.
But that's below the NBT lot, correct? I think
No.
they're just looking to get to the beginning of the NBT lot, so.
This would be right across from the MBT lot.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, let's make sure we talk with Brad and let all interested parties know.
yeah, and they need a highway work permit. That's the hard part about this. And
Right.
anyway, and of course, it's, all the cost is upon the owner of the building. But it's something smart to do.
Okay, and then the other thing, unless Tracy, you know, just like everything else, everybody is having trouble getting material. The Ready Rock that we had hoped to have and be starting at the end of this week, do you know anything more on the date on that?
12 weeks from,
So it's not going to be here at the end of this week, okay.
I haven't heard anything different, but
Okay.
Brad might be in contact with them.
So they were hoping, there were sides that say, yes, it's on the way, and the other side said no. But at the very latest, we're hoping that if not, within a week from now, most of the bioretention areas will be shut down and that the Ready Rock would be put in the 3rd or 4th week of August.
I mean, today Ivan was saying that maybe they want to do the Ready Rock wall before they pave mid-main parking lot. But then I said, what about the parking? We're going to lose the parking for.
Yeah, and it's a base coat, so it won't be the final, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, we got to have a hard surface there to park, so.
Yeah, I think so too. We need Summertime.
And then the other part of that I learned is that the pavement that goes into NBT lot over top of Practice B and Practice C is water porous. And the only day that the plant makes that is on Mondays. So it'll probably have to be,
In Plattsburgh.
so a lot of moving parts here, but that's it.
Has the board discussed, number one, Main Street Park from this standpoint is that there's the areas that are not paved are all topsoiled at this point. But I understand sod can't go in until the irrigation system goes in. And I'm not sure of the timing of when the irrigation can go in. So in this interim, people are traipsing through all the topsoil that's there. Has the board had any discussions about closing that off so people aren't traipsing through the topsoil? They can't at this point go down to the water because the stairs are closed. And so the only way to get down to the water is through the topsoil. And even when the stairs are open, that's going to be the only way they can get to the water because that whole lower level is going to be grass, I understand. So just throw that out there. I think we're going to be able to open the stairs shortly from a safety standpoint. But in the meantime, all that other area that's not the granite is being kind of walked in, whatever, by everybody. And I don't know what shape it'll be in by the time they have to put the irrigation and the topsoil or the sod down.
It's a great point. I'll talk to Brad tomorrow and we'll,
Oh, he's aware of it. He and I have talked, but I didn't know if the board had an opinion. I
Okay.
think if you put up caution tape, people, it just blows away and people jump over it anyway. I think it's just an unfortunate situation.
I mean, the important thing is it's safe to walk on.
Correct. And I understand right now, one of the safety issues is the stairs are lacking grout. So there's gaps between the granite. But it's going to get grouted either this week or next week. And then we're probably going to be able to open up the stairs, but the stairs lead to topsoil. There's no sidewalk, granite sidewalk that goes to the water. That's the design of the park. It's all grass at that lower level.
Plus, there, Janet, there's more work to be done, that the rock that's in cages, I don't know what the heck it's called, along the shore in the water itself.
Oh, the gabion boxes or whatever,
Yeah, the
gabion wall.
holds it all together on the bottom on the shore is all deteriorated, like the rocks are falling out of the cages. So Ivan applied for, I don't know what he did with the DEC to get a permit to add stones, big stones into the water itself. So none of that work can be done until the stones get placed into the lake. And that can't be done until we have a permit. So
All right, well, I just bring that up. Brad and I have had discussion about this, but that's the design of the park, that there's no walkway as such that goes to the lake. It stops at the bottom of the stairs.
yeah.
okay, well, I think at this point, we'll review a recommendation from Brad on this project. And if he deems that people should be staying off of it as mayor, I'll just close off whatever he says to close off. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I didn't think whatever the dirt area was actually like, I thought it was close to being completed yet with topsoil and seed and everything else. So I didn't think it was that big.
Well, if they have to get an excavator in there to put stones in the lake.
So there's no
sense finishing anything.
So it's not really topsoil.
And I don't think walking in the topsoil is a safety issue. I think it's an issue of
We haven't put topsoil down.
ruining something that we put down.
Looks the whole place dirt.
Okay, well, like I said, I'll review that with Brad.
And I would think the contractors would prep the surface before they put the sod down anyway.
Sure.
They're gonna make sure that it's ready. They don't, because if the grass fails, then it's on them anyway.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, anything else? Okay, one last correspondence. Item 9 is dog control officer inspection report. I'm not even sure how often these come out, but
Because the name's not on it.
it's on a regular basis. It says the report is satisfactory. And there's a bunch of items that need to be checked off. They're all, yes, things are going good. A couple of non-applicables. And it says that we have held no dogs in the shelter, and number of dogs seized is 4. So it sounds like we really don't have much of a problem. But I just wanted to bring up that a report was sent, let you know what it was. And at this point,
Can it be sent email back to update their info? I mean, changed it.
I'll let them know. At this point,
It's all on you.
and congratulations before we start on your motion to managing editor.
Managing, congratulations.
How about that?
That's exciting. Very nice.
Now I'm being, I'm the reporter and the manager.
Yeah. You didn't get to say money though too?
This is-
Oh, look at this.
And correct me if understanding that with the Ironman contract, this is something the village and the town also signs.
Correct.
So my question is kind of twofold. First of all, does the village board have to approve the contract or like approve a resolution allowing you to sign it on behalf of the village before that goes through?
That's a good question. Janet, do you have an answer on that? Yes.
I recall that was the case. But then with that one.
The
So-
second part of the question, just generally, with this kind of being discussed, Bruce posted a call the other day. Where do you all stand on it? Do you think I managed to stay or no?
I can begin unless someone else would like to.
Through the mayor.
I don't know if any of you sat in, and I did sit in on the meeting, and I thought it was interesting. It was very close. It was like 1/3 was for, 1/3 was against, and 1/3 just thought things like it ought to be moved to November. You know, interesting comments, but my opinion is that it's too bad we didn't have this destination management plan and have this contract expire next year, but I think at this point, we should extend it until such time as the destination management plan can determine what's best for the community. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, I love the event. It's not the best event as far as from a business perspective, the week of, but I mean, I know like the last 2 weeks of May, we had an Airbnb in the bookstore, and the people who stayed down there were people up here training. That's when they had time to shop and be part of the community. And I talked to people in the store today, and they're like, we have a second home here because of Ironman. And they come here since 2000, come here every year for the race, and either volunteer or participate. And it's such a world-class event. I just think having classes being associated with it, we should be proud of that.
And one thing that did come out of that is that we are the second most coveted event for Ironman after Kona. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're number 2, which is really quite an honor. But, and things that were also being discussed, and I don't want to get into all of it, but there were things that Ironman used to do in the past, such as sometimes buying something for the fire department, different things. I think that's all part of the negotiations, and we'll just have to see where it all wraps up. I'm guessing it would be nice to have a contract signed before the race, which is coming up quickly.
Is that happening?
Well, I don't call it an emergency meeting, but
I like they have the same. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind. I love the event. I love taking it in. I love the atmosphere. I love race day. But I can see where the community as a whole, some of the feedback are saying, maybe it's time to explore other options. And if the negotiation seems to be more beneficial for the community, then I would certainly go for it. But it means they would have to sell it. And I don't think Ironman has been in the business of selling their event to the community. Most communities been paying money to come, have them come. So that's just, I just like to see Ironman
well, when
sell it
you,
to us.
most areas do pay Ironman.
Oh, yeah, quite a bit.
Jackie, you want to say anything?
Well, I was on that call too, Mayor, and it was split exactly the way you had said. You know, a third for, a third against, and a third of people who offered different options. But I did hear some feedback that the call wasn't very well promoted. More people would have liked to have joined. They were wondering, you know, why wasn't it done at a different time? You know, there were 100 people on the call, and I think before I can make a more informed decision, I think I'd like to hear from more people. Because I see the pros and I see the cons. You know, this is a rainy summer. I don't know what businesses are saying. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be as busy as last summer. But who knows? That's just my observation, which could be totally off the mark. But, you know, an event like Ironman is weatherproof. It doesn't matter if it's snowing, raining, you know, whatever, they're going to be here. So, I mean, that is definitely one of the benefits of having events. So, you know, we need to take a lot of things into consideration.
Thank you. Peter, would you like to say anything or? You don't have to, just
No,
take a chance.
I'm over it. I mean, I used to be probably one of its biggest supporters, but there's no other event that negatively affects the locals as much. I mean, my family benefits tremendously, but not everybody does. We gotta take their opinion into account as well.
Great.
You guys are thinking that the July 25th probably is gonna happen.
Well, depending, I have to talk with Jay, the supervisor, and Bruce, but, you know, if they need it in place, I can always have an emergency board meeting, I suppose.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I mean, unless you have an update on the marijuana law.
Yeah, I think we'd all like to see somebody else take the whole by the horns, like the state, and help us out a little bit there, but. Okay. Okay, anybody else? Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
All in favor? Aye. Very good. Thank you very much, everybody.
Shannon, can you hang out for a minute?
What's going on here? Few hours, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We're sliding backwards.